Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Perry with Premier Guitar here at the Mercy Lounge here in Nashville, Tennessee, hanging out with Chris Hanna of Propagandhi. And I know a lot of you like to troll me online for being a little too excited, but you're gonna have to bear with me for this one because Propagandhi just happens to be my favorite band of all time. So I am so grateful for you doing this, and I'm so excited to get into it. So
I paid him $10.
Yeah, you paid me $10 to say that. Just kidding. But hey, man, dude, this is such a pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the show tonight. Let's start with this. I've seen you play this almost exclusively.
Since probably 2000.
Right.
Or no, probably 2005 or something like that.
Yeah.
I bought it at a gas station outside of Winnipeg.
Craigslist or something?
Some guy wanted to meet me at a gas station outside the city, and struck it rich on this one.
Yeah, good job. What'd you get for it?
Do you mean how much I paid for it?
Yeah.
I paid the guy 900 Canadian, which is what, $50 American. And just put the EverTune in, a couple of different pickups, and.
What was going on during soundcheck? I noticed that you were having a little issue with the
of course, that happened today. It sounded like the bridge tone pot is fault. I don't know. We'll find out during the show if I fixed it. All we did was stick our fingers in and push stuff around. We don't really travel with guitar techs or anything, so we just.
Well, it sounded really, really good.
Oh, good.
So about that EverTune.
Yeah.
Well, I guess let's start with basics because I'm gonna get a little crazy on this one. But string gauges. You guys are typically an E standard, correct?
We're typically E flat.
Oh, okay.
And then we drop the E flat to C's and D's sometimes. And then we put a capo on, not on this tour, no capos, but we usually have capos all over the place. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I was wondering about your string gauges because most of the time when I sit down to learn a Propagandhi song, it's in E flat or E. But you're bending the shit out of strings, but you still maintain like a not floppy top end. So is that a custom set? Or are you running?
I run 52s. Sulynn runs 46s, but because of the EverTune, you can kind of get away without, like, you can down tune and not really get that spaghetti thing going.
Sure.
Because you can kind of adjust your own tension with your EverTune thing. You know, it's not a perfect system, but it's a really awesome system for what we do.
Cool. So what pickups you throw in there?
This, I can't remember.
Okay.
And it's probably something like, I don't know. I have no idea actually. Oh no, you know what? That might be a VH2 Bare Knuckle.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Maybe. And then this one for sure is a NailBomb. The Alnico. You call it Alnico or is it Alnico? You know that ceramic Alnico? I don't know what it's called. But
yeah.
That's
well, it'll be like a Alnico pole, like a 3 or 5 or something like that.
NailBomb.
Yeah. Sounds awesome.
Oh, good.
Okay. Another thing, I know you guys have been using Axe Effects for a couple of years, which is something I didn't really expect because I guess, you know, in the past I've seen you playing with 5150s, which in my opinion is kind of like the perfect metal punk tone, but you're running Axe Effects now through Marshalls, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But you're going power amp, and you're just using the power amp, correct?
No.
Okay.
The FX8 is for using the whole thing. So I'm just using a drive.
Just effects.
Yeah, just effects on there into this. Like I've used I used to have the Axe Effects 2, and used to run it through a power amp, and it was okay, but there's something something that doesn't push the same way. So, and I mean, on our records, we don't use the FX8s. We use the real pedal versions of what we're trying to do here.
You don't want to tour with all that stuff, yeah.
We don't want to tour with that stuff. These are just easy for flying in. There's less potential points of failure on your pedal board, and there's, you know what's happening.
Plus
if this thing
tap
fails.
dancing all night.
Yeah, it's really convenient.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't even use JCM 2000s on our records. Like we used a Friedman, but we kind of have defaulted to equipment that you can get anywhere in the world. When you're fly in, and backline company's going to have these for sure.
Yeah.
So it's become more like just a matter of practicality, sort of how we're set up.
That was kind of the Axe Effects is more of a pragmatic approach, so you can kind of maintain your tone wherever.
And I mean, I compared it in the studio, and the Marshall. Like it's within like this much of the real thing, but just enough difference on a record that
you want to record with real amps and stuff. Yeah. Plus Friedmans just sound like a Panther Fist Razors. Yeah, those things are amazing. Yeah. Oh man, that's really cool. So are you getting gain from the head at all?
A little bit. Yeah, it's room? A very little bit. Yeah, it's mostly clean as it is, and then the drive is coming from the FX8.
Awesome. How long did it take you to mess with that FX8 to get it dialed in? Because I've heard varying reports.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of a set it and forget it guy, so I tried something, it worked for a while, And then when I realized it wasn't enough, started tweaking more, go online, read what other people are doing, stacking their drives, which I think stacking your drives on these fractal things is the key.
For sure.
For me, it
helps you to jump also between balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like, you know, like maybe the softer part in coach's corner or something like that.
Yeah,
it's not 100% drive. It's just kind of in the middle somewhere.
That's right. Yep. Exactly.
Which, man, your sound check sounded really, really good, and I was kind of curious to see how it would sound, you know, with that. But I guess you're running real amps as well. So.
Yeah.
Are these pretty much just like a big clean palette then, and then everything's colors coming from here?
Yeah, on mine pretty much. Sulynn's is a bit different because she's just running a single channel 800, so she has to try to ride the line between the high gain and the clean a little. It's a little more of a balance for her.
For sure.
Mine's pretty easy to do, but yeah.
Are these your amps or is this backline?
Yeah, these are ours because we drove.
Yeah,
we can
for
just
sure.
bring everything, but when we fly into somewhere, just get these Marshalls and we know what we're gonna get. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And then do you know what speakers you're running out of the Mesa by chance?
V30s on both sides. On the record, I used, what are those ones? What is in that old Marshall basket weave?
Like
not T75s.
Is it not like
it's some other
30-watt speaker or something?
Fuck is it? I can't remember. Anyways, it's that one.
Gotcha.
It's not V30s, but I like V30s live. For sure.
Oh, as opposed, yeah, you can feel the difference.
Yeah. There's like the ones that I use in the studio record really well, but these just have a far more aggressive, kind of visceral feel to them. So
that's very fair. Right on. I guess you know, we've kind of covered most of your gear. Does it make you nervous traveling with one guitar?
Well, we actually we have a second one that me and Sulynn don't want to use.
It doesn't feel right?
Yeah, it's like our it's the black sheep of the family.
Emergency.
Yeah,
guitar.
but yeah, I mean, we've always just kind of traveled like a bunch of dummies with no backup stuff, and something goes wrong and just deal with it on the spot. Yeah.
Whatever, it seems to be working. You guys are still doing it.
Yeah.
Victory Lap is freaking awesome, by the way. I'm a huge fan. Is it intentional that the most ripping ass solos on all your records are usually the last song? Like, I want to see like Pure in a Hall of Fame, or like, I don't know if you've noticed, that's just something I've personally noticed as a huge fan. Like, there's almost always like the most frantic, chaotic solo at the end of your records, and I just love it.
I didn't notice that.
Iteration, the end of that one is just like the nastiest, just goes all over the place, man. That thing is just screaming. So
I'll have to remember
I don't know if that was
time.
intentional or.
No, it wasn't intentional, but yeah, we'll do that again.
Oh, cool. And like, all right, here's another question I have for you. In the song, my German is terrible, but the Die Jugend.
Die Jugend.
Yeah, how do you say that?
Die Jugend marschiert.
Okay, cool. So like, in that song, it almost sounds like you're going into the Boys of Summer. Is that intentional? Is that a reference?
No. People have said that, and I guess I can kind of hear it, but it was totally not.
Cool. Yeah.
Not on purpose.
I didn't know if it was like maybe some sort of reference to a lyric in that song that harkened back to your song, or.
Not on purpose. Hopefully, Don Henley doesn't see this interview and.
I highly doubt that he will see this. But if you're watching, Don, yeah, cool riff,
Thanks.
man. Yeah.
Thanks for the riff.
Yeah, totally. Well, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Before I let you go, one of my good friends back in New York, Enoch Porch, if you're watching, this is your question. He had a question. Well, I guess I'll phrase this in two different ways. What was the catalyst? I was a huge How to Clean Everything fan and Let's Talk More Rock, and then 5 years went by, and when I graduated school, I remember hearing Today's Empires with my bandmates in a van, literally freaking the fuck out, like, oh my god, this is like the Pink Floyd of punk rock, you know, which is totally different than, you know, your earlier material. What was the catalyst for that change, man? Like,
I think we just got a little bit better at our instruments, and we're kind of getting closer to approximating what we wanted the band to be originally. If you hear our demos before How to Clean Everything, it's much more metallic, but like really amateurish. And I couldn't sing properly, couldn't sing heavy, couldn't play guitar quite like all the metal bands I liked. How to Clean Everything, you know, I was like, oh, this is easy. You know,
sure, yeah. Pop punk, right on.
No Effects, Bad Religions, that's the easy shit. And then, but then we just got better and got closer to the goal.
Totally, man. Yeah, you're absolutely getting there. I guess that's a good segue. Like, you're obviously a shredder. Was that because you were like really, really into Van Halen early when you were a kid or something, or like how did that come about? Because I hear a lot of awesome metal influence in your music. And
yeah, well, we grew up. Metal is what got me into music, like Venom and Metallica,
totally.
Slayer, Exodus, all the great early metal bands in Canada, especially Sacrifice, Voivod. there was so much stuff going on that seemed, and we'd go see the bands like SNFU would come to Winnipeg all the time, and not a metal band, but they were a metallic hardcore band in Canada, and it just seemed like within our grasp if we just worked a little at it. And,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you've obviously worked pretty damn hard at it, because I can't hardly play an acoustic guitar and sing at the same time. So you guys have very, very complex song structures and chordal phrasings and stuff like that. Is that something where, do you write lyrics and then shape them to a composition, or do you write around your, like how does that work?
I wish I knew.
It just
like
kind of comes
everyone's,
together.
yeah. By the end of a record, we have no idea how it happened, and it's probably more like. It's probably more we try to hammer the words into the music afterwards, I guess, but it's a two-way street. Like then you start hammering the music to fit something you really like lyrically. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
While I got you here and while you have everything set up because you guys just sound checked, I was hoping maybe you could take me through just a couple of settings. I know you're not like huge into effects, but I've definitely heard delay. I've definitely heard a couple of gain stages, and maybe like even like what gains you're going for in the fractal.
Okay. Well, this first one's just a clean channel. It's as clean as I get. And there's a little delay on there, but I often forget to turn it on. So, because I'm a set it and forget it kind of guy. And then we just have like an in-between kind of thing.
Kind of like brown soundy, but not over the top.
Yeah. And then over the top kind of. I use quite a bit more gain than Sulynn does. So,
Sure.
Kind of hides the mistakes a little more.
Oh yeah, I gotta love that.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Is there a noise gate built into this? Because I noticed you're not.
Yeah, you can see there that this one here is a gate. Actually, I'm gonna turn it off. It seems to be pretty quiet in here in this building. But it has two gates. It has a gate on the front for like just the noise of a guitar, and then it has another gate that you can put post drive pedals to really tighten it up.
Tighten it up.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it sucks any of it? Like you remember there's like old school like noise suppressors
Yeah.
that kind of like suck your tone right away.
No, this one's really good. Like you'd have to set it very extreme to really notice it killing anything. Yeah.
Killing you at all.
Yeah.
And as far as gains, like like what were you going for in here? What did you model after? Would you use amps or effects?
Just effects. There's no. This one FX8 doesn't have amps. It only has effect pedals.
It only has effects.
And then what I was doing, I ended up kind of defaulting every time to those BBE or BB preamp. You know that one?
Yeah,
that
the
pedal.
Mm-hmm.
So they have an emulation of that in here. And then I got one in real life, which is what we ended up using on the record, a BB pre and an RC or an AC boost or something.
Yeah, the BB makes them both, right?
Yeah, they make them exotic.
Exotic effects.
Exotic makes them. So those are the drives that I'm trying to get on here, and it sounds pretty close. Like I say, it's like within this much, and live you wouldn't really notice.
Yeah. Damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, again, I thank you so much for taking the time to walk through all this stuff with me and let me dork out with you, man.
Right on, Perry.
It means a lot, dude. I'm gonna talk to Todd and Sulynn.
Nice.
Now we're here with Todd the Rod Kowalski. Very excited. Yakshamash, Todd. Good to meet you, man. I'm a huge fan. So normally I see you with Music Man, like that sparkly Music Man. I've seen a couple times. Maybe what sparked the change?
Well, actually, for quite a while, I've been using this again. It's like I started using this in '97. And then
it's been around, huh?
Yeah, I did some of those Music Mans, and they just kind of break too easy on tour. They have like more inputs here,
Because the active pickups and stuff.
Yeah, and they're like the neck's a little fatter, and I actually like the sound of this better. So I was just like, I don't know, I just took it out of its case and I'd practice on this. I just like, fuck, I just like this better, And I like the sound even better, even though it's like kind of an old, kind of mid-range Ibanez or whatever. So.
Bass is technically like a guitar in general is kind of a mid-range instrument. I think a lot of heavy bands kind of forget that. What I mean?
Yeah, like this cuts through and like kind of excites me more. It's like a little more faster.
I love the natural finish too, man. That's
cool. Totally. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like natural guitars resonate a little bit better. They don't have a ton of shellac and shit all over them.
Right.
I seem to kind of feel it a little more.
And I haven't. This one seems to sound a little better than like even the high-end ones I've tried, unless I'm just delusional, because I like this one. But,
I mean, it's all relative, dude. I've played, $800 Les Pauls that sound incredible compared to like vintage awesome Les Paul. It just it depends on the guitar. It really does.
Right.
All right, man. So have you done anything to specify or change it at all? Like, did you change the pickups or?
I don't think so, but all these new are all new.
Are these EMGs?
Shit. I can't even remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
EMG.
Yeah. Cool. It's almost like a PJ.
Yeah, these are, I think, the original ones that came with it. Yeah.
Sound really, really
and
great.
Then, I don't know. And then, yeah, all this is new because I've corroded all this shit so many times,
Sure.
like just from sweat, you know. So all this is new.
All new pots and stuff.
Yeah, it'll probably need to be done again some point soon. Yeah. I don't know.
Are you traveling with a backup, or is this kind of it?
Yeah, I have like another Ibanez,
Just like that.
like 1200 or whatever, but I don't really like it even close to as much as this.
Yeah, I think
It's just in case this one gets trashed.
strings and gauges are you running?
Well, I guess today I'm using Ernie's balls.
Right.
Sometimes
Sounds very
Dario.
hairy.
Yeah.
Right on, dude.
Yeah. No, but they actually gave me some, so it's like kind of nice now. And
Especially when they're like $40 a pop, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
really, really nice.
Yeah.
So, are you typically on the SVT?
Yeah, this is the amp I like the best so far. That's what I usually use. I've tried like, again, like for a while I had Mesa Boogies, but they just broke. Like we just be on too early, break. Go here, they break. It gets too hot, they don't work, you know?
It almost seems like slightly counterintuitive because that SVT Classic is the heaviest freaking thing in the world.
Yeah.
And the weight alone, you'd think it almost would break more because like if it does fall or slip, it's going to be a lot worse than if it was a smaller amp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. This is just my experience. Like I'm not saying that's what they do and
Yeah.
typically, you know, but I was just frustrated. I've never had a problem with these. I have two of these. The only problem is like fucking carrying them from my house to jamming, two of them by myself.
The
Sucks.
worst, man.
Yeah.
The worst.
And then this, of course, everyone likes and I like it. It's this fucking thing here.
Was that 810s or?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's
Yeah, I love 10 inch speakers with bass, I think, is kind of where the money is if you're going for that punk rock punchy.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of thing.
awesome. Yeah, these two things and this bass, and then this thing. I like this stuff without this pedal isn't as exciting. That's for sure.
The BB pre?
Yeah, exotic effects bass BB. Yeah, I like that, man. I just like turn it on so it's the same loudness as this, and add a bit of the just a bit of the distortion or whatever. Or
Just to get it to break up the tone a little bit.
What do you gain or whatever the fuck you call it?
And you're not really running any other pedals. That's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah, that's it. I like to be simple about things. I just want to play and fucking rock and not worry about a bunch of stuff, you know? Like, I don't like hitting pedals. I don't like in-ears. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally get it.
I like the excitement in music, and I find stuff getting in the way is like doesn't enthrall me, you know?
Kind of, it takes away from it a little bit almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
and especially
like,
since you guys are singing, like, you and Chris are singing really complex parts, like, over, like, you know, I don't know, it's kind of mind-blowing to watch you. It always,
Yeah, and I like the effects on guitars, like they add like depth in that, but like on bass, like I don't find like this combination of stuff really like has these like peaks that I need like you know, compression and all that kind of stuff, you know, as much. And
So,
whatever.
are you just working your volume to get, like, a little bit of cleaner tones, or, like,
Yeah, just that, yeah. Just go like this a little bit.
kind of pull it off a little bit?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
But- or pick a little lighter too, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you pick and fingers guy, or a little bit of both?
Yeah. Sometimes like little chords or just fucking little things, and yeah, it's more. And I like to actually hit. Like I like slapping a lot. Anytime there's a note that's really hard, I slap it. Yeah.
All right, so you don't have a ton of stuff, but I have to ask. I'd love to hear your amp, but specifically in unscripted moments, the end of that song, though, it sounds like you were just going apeshit, dude. What is that?
I can't.
Is that a tapping thing?
I think I was
okay.
tapping like this, and then sliding. But I can't. I don't do it here because I can't remember how right now.
I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, "What in the hell is he doing?"
Yeah, it was like kind of I was playing the the lick, and I just went crazy, and I said to the JP, the sound guy, I go, is that a little ridiculous? And he turns around and he goes, or is it fucking awesome?
I have to go with fucking awesome, dude.
I kind of like that
such a
spirit,
cool sound,
you know?
yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that's what I like, rather than just sitting there dully, you know, playing your notes and the engineer turns around, you know.
Oh,
like,
man, you gotta spice it up.
no, it's not quite in tune enough. Okay, let's tune it one more morsel, you know. It's just like,
Yeah, I love it. It's absolute
Yeah.
sonic excitement. That's the shit
Yeah,
that really
that's
pumps
what
me
I
up,
think
man.
too, yeah.
Well, can we
So-
hear your amp, just like the bass tone that you're going with? I know that the BB is on, you told me a second ago, kind of all the time.
Yeah.
But kick it off. Yeah, let's hear it without
Okay,
it.
here. Okay, that's off. Just kind of flat. And then here's on.
It almost reminds me of like a better, remember the sonic maximizers people used to use?
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of that. It just kind of gives you a little oomph.
Yeah, and it doesn't take away the the natural tone, you know? Like sometimes you get sometimes you get the
compression.
It just doesn't sound
not
right.
used right can kind of suck your tone down a little bit
Yeah.
too. So yeah, man, it sounds freaking great. And then for your clean parts, you're just kind of rolling back a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Cool.
And even then, sometimes it's just I just pick a little lighter, and you know, yeah.
Cover the bases. Well, dude, I really appreciate it. I'm so excited for the show tonight.
Yeah,
We're gonna go talk to Sulynn. All right, now we're on the other side with Sulynn Hago. You're the new guitar player.
Yep.
Man, Beavis a little dude, but big shoes to fill. And I saw the soundtrack and I'm blown away, man. You're such a shredder. It's great. And you have kind of a similar setup that he was running in the last couple of tours with the 800 and an SG, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I've noticed that you also have that little EverTune guy going on in your SG. Is that something that you put in recently?
No, well, this tour actually, I'm using this one. I usually use I was using this like other SG, which is like a 96. And I just started using this this tour because of the neck. Like I found that I personally like kind of like a longer, thinner neck, and the other one's just a little bit more of the rounded shape. And I find that's just my preference, you know.
Totally.
So that's the reason that I'm using this one. It's a 97. But that one, both of them have EverTunes. I actually didn't hear about EverTune. Chris really introduced it to me when I joined, and a lot of the things that I'm actually using, because it's kind of like the gear that's in Winnipeg, since I have to travel so far from Florida, you know, like it's a lot of the things kind of like that they already had established, and I'm really all for it, you know.
If it's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Exactly, yeah, and it's extremely convenient, you know, for if you're just trying to power through the set with like as much like technical things going on in the songs.
And you guys have a lot of technical stuff going on in the song, so I guess that's probably a nice relief to not have to mess with that all the time.
Yeah, the only, you know, it's like certain things, like I'm waiting for EverTune to come up with the one with the whammy bar, because like that's like all the guitars I use in other bands have one. Yeah, like I have like a Jag and a Strat, and even my SG has one, like two back home.
So I guess my first guitar when I was a kid was an SG too, and so I always played Gibsons and got really used to that scale length, and then I remember when I got my first Fender, I'm like, whoa, well, this is awesome. Like the frets feel bigger, the neck is like a little thinner. And of all guitars in the world, I feel like SGs have the most variance in neck profiles, because, man, some of them feel like a Louisville Slugger, and some of them are so thin, especially like the 60s and the 60s reissues and stuff.
I have a 70s SG. It's like an SG custom. It's a freaking godly guitar, but like the neck is so, actually it's the opposite. It's very thin. Yeah, it's a 1970. It's
those are shred masters, man. You can set that action super low and just really get after it.
Yeah, that's kind of like where it's at right now. It's cool.
Do you know what pickups are in this? Because it looks like
JB, yeah, these are, I know these are the JB pickups. I forgot what the neck pickup is, actually. I was considering going like that classic combo of getting the jazzy, like kind of neck pickup.
Totally, for
that clean. Yeah, because that's where
especially
like,
with an 800. Like, I don't know if you find this, but like I've had a couple of 800s, and it's almost like a 5150 where like the gain sound is so sweet, but like finding a clean tone is a little tricky.
That's, you know, and it's funny because like every trip that I go up to Winnipeg for before a tour, it's like I'm constantly tweaking the sound, because it's like because I travel so far, and it's a huge expense to bring my own stuff, you know, it's like, and because of like, you know, I've had horror stories of like the TSA like banging on my pedals. I'm like, so I've been using this for less than a year, and it's been really reliable for that, or like cabling, but I guess my point is, like with the clean channel, that's like kind of my next like project right now. It's like, okay, like I can tell it's not where I want it, and I play a twin reverb at home, so I come from like the classic, like amazing, and
super
it's like
clean.
So it's like I'm trying to find some kind of middle ground of like it's perfect for gain, and but I'm still toying around with that, you know. Like it would be ideal. I doubt this will happen, to have like an AB twin reverb.
Dude,
although I do have that at home.
That would be so sick. Well, you could always get an AB pedal, and then you know, even run you know, effects in stereo with the
Yeah.
Axe effects, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's
Like a wet dry
whether we
setup?
can do that. Like, we'll see what
If
happens.
you have some time off of tour to play with
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
that would be so
That's like
freaking
the-
cool. But
we'll see what
in
happens.
soundtrack, it didn't sound crazy at all. So for your
Yeah, it's kind of there.
cleaner tones, are you just kind of rolling off the volume a little bit, like Todd, or?
No, it's actually most of the
clip to the
clean.
neck?
Yeah, exactly. Like for like note to self and like I think you caught like duplicate keys,
Yeah.
like things like that. Yeah, just to kind of pull it back from being so like crispy. Yeah,
Totally,
exactly.
like all that presence, like in your face kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's a nice like way of achieving that, I think.
Is this SG top heavy? Like if you let it go, is it? dive
Actually,
bottom or what?
it feels lighter than the one I have been using, and yeah, I find that this one feels comfortable for me.
I bet the extra weight of that EverTune really kind of helps that a lot, because you know a lot of SGs just stock will naturally the head stock will, if you're not holding on to it, it wants
Yeah, I've
to
never
hit the
thought of that,
ground.
but yeah, it feels
Might
like
help it
way
balance out a little bit.
distributed really nicely.
So are you using the 800 for like a gain structure, or is that basically you're just going to try to get headroom out of that and then use the Axe effects?
Yeah, it's kind of like the foundation, and then like in the Axe effects, there's another like gain, like a kind of, I believe it's like the BB preamp. Basically, so I'm like a big pedal head back home. Like I have like a wicked, like crazy Terra 42, like that kind of beast. And
Next time you're touring with your other band and you guys come through here, like we got to do
okay,
that. That would be so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That's like, you should see the mountain of gear that's in that crew. But anyway, so with the Axe effects, what I like is that I can still like emulate some of that, you know, where that all of those preferences and pedals are like part of my freaking being, you know. So it's
extensions
like
of yourself.
yeah, so it's like I feel really familiar with the sound. So when I come up to Winnipeg, basically like me and Chris will like meet up a little earlier before like
So you have some
practice.
time.
Yeah, and just dial in the sound. So I really like the overdrive is kind of like that and clean are just like my basics, you know. And then I have some variants of like presets, you know, that are kind of like emulating a little bit of what I have like back home, like some choruses or like chorus and reverb blends. Like I like a lot of like ambient stuff too.
Yeah,
So I have what's cool about the Axe effects too, and I've just started doing this, is having almost multiple pedal boards. Like I haven't been doing that up until this tour as well. You can see like I'm constantly tweaking.
Sure.
Like that's just like
I
the
think
kind of
everybody,
person
you know,
I am.
if
Yeah.
most great players are chasing the dragon, man. They're constantly
Yeah.
after
You're
that
never
yeah.
you're never satisfied,
Plus, I
which
guess
is a good thing.
It depends, like
And-
where you're at, where you're hearing it. Is it through a PA? Is it monitor
Yeah.
involved? Like
What songs you're playing even too. It's like, oh, we're playing this song, and oh, maybe I could add this touch, you know. So yeah, I have a couple points in the set where I basically dial up to a different pedal board configuration, and so the reverb's different, where like in the standard
Shorter.
one it's a little bit, yeah, it's actually a little bit more kind of like an amp reverb, kind of like
a
being that I
twin-
twin it,
yeah, totally,
that you know, just kind of like the surfy classic like sound, and then the other reverb is more of like that kind of plated, very like huge sounding one. So I like having that. It's only like basically 8 banks, but having that feature going to different pedal boards, you can really like expand it. Just because
blockchain
that's
thing is like just insane how you can set up
Yeah.
entire different amps, and well, not with this one in particular, but you know, the 2 and the 3, you can, you know, have 4 amps on each patch.
Yeah.
It's, you know, which is
Pretty
stuff
wild.
that's so crazy. Are you using a lot of the chorus and reverb in this, like for the just kind of crazy like
there's a
ambient
couple parts like yeah, like I guess in this set not as much, but in previous sets, you know, I'll even, they're so open to just developing or like not changing their songs, but just like if I like have an idea, like
augmenting something.
yeah, I'll be like, oh, in Purina, maybe I can add chorus in a place that like this one riff, and like it's not on the recording like that, and I tried it live, and it sounds cool, you know, just like kind of changing, like adding my touch. That's like, I know, again, like I really love like colors with the pedals, so like being like just doing it tastefully in songs that already people know, but just adding just like the hair
Just to give
bit
it
of
a
difference,
whole
you know.
little extra
Yeah.
dimension or something.
Yeah,
Right?
so I use there's like in like Victory Lap, there's this middle part that I do use like a reverb and chorus kind of blend. That's pretty awesome.
That rules. So for this pedal here, this fractal pedal, is that a volume or using it for an expression?
For now, volume. I do want to actually start using expression. We almost were gonna do that, but we ran out of time. Like
Totally.
I'm there for like only such few days, and it goes by really fast before a tour starts. But yeah, so it's just a volume, just because I'm like a clean finish at parts, you know, rather than like, you know, it's just like a kind of like nice, like if there's an exchange between like people and parts, like I like to have that kind of nice fade, so I like to control it. But yeah, I want to start bringing in like an expression pedal as well, just because I'd want to do some like delay kind of swirls and stuff too. You know, like Beef did a lot of that stuff too in the recordings, like, and yeah, I like those kind of like sounds, you know, and
agreed. Yeah.
It's, I do that back home, like I have like the timeline. I have it hooked up to that.
You need like a college course to learn that thing, man. Like I feel like some of those pedals are like almost too much for my brain to handle, like, you know, because they can just do so much. It's like I don't really need it to do that much. I just need it to sound awesome, you know. I
have a combination of that, like back home, like I have like stuff that it's like, these are my staples, like, okay, a flanger, that's kind of like, I know what my settings are, but then the ones that are a little bit more expansive, I treat it like it's like you're playing a new instrument. Like I actually sit there like,
it's almost like a synth.
My weekends, like I'm just make a cup of coffee and just sit there with the pedal, get to know it, and get to know it as if it's like I am playing it, like it's its own instrument, you know. So yeah, that's kind of like something I'm gonna look into out of maybe the next go around or something. Yeah, so it'll constantly expand and change. You know?
It's awesome. So last question before I let you go. Being from Puerto Rico, right, and growing up in Florida.
Yeah.
How much do you like going to Canada? Does that bum you out? So poutine rules, but like, is it like freezing? Like you can't handle it or what?
This time around, I mean, I've actually been lucky to go like kind of unscathed. I always go like when it's like just happens to be oddly warm. Like this last time I've been eyeing the weather and I'm like, holy shit, I can't even comprehend how cold that is, you know? And then like it warmed up like a couple days before I got there. I mean, yeah, it's you know, it's now kind of routine where it is crazy to be like, I fly that far for band practices, but it's worth it. You know, it's
people
fun.
might laugh at that question, but like, I remember once on tour, I had to play in Detroit. We had to load in and immediately play, which I had never done something like that, you know, and my hands were so damn cold that it was like, well, I can't do this. Like,
yeah,
like,
yeah, we walked to practices too. That, you know, it's like walking in the snow. I mean, I think my tolerance for cold has definitely changed since like joining this band, but it has its moments where I'm like, damn, it's like you really got work to get to practice. Like we have the convenience of having the window down, kind of driving, you know, it's always warm, so yeah, I mean,
well, dang,
it's just part of the experience now.
I love your band. I'm so stoked that you get to play in this band, and this is so awesome, and I'm excited to see it tonight. So thank you for taking the time to talk. Guys, this is Perry with Premier Guitar. Stay tuned for other rig rundowns, lessons, all kinds of stuff.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on PremierGuitar.com.